Come, Nerevar, come. While I do not condone anything but honoring the sixth house and the tribe unmourned and worshipping me, a god, how can you not worship a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. However, as we have established before, I, Dagoth Ur, am the best wingman you can find in all of Mundus. Without further delay, here is my dating advice for each playable race in Skyrim. Yes, Nerevar, each province has different standards. Let us begin with the Bosmer or Wood Elf, Enwas. Obvious red flags with a wide array of madness and paranoia aside, they can be somewhat of a viable choice. To date one, you must woo them, tease them, and show them that you want them more than anyone else. They will worship the very ground you walk on, as they are very impressionable despite being shy. They respond well to praise. And when you have their attention, invite them somewhere private where you can discuss your goals, preferably someplace far from the eyes of their peers. However, if they offer to make you food, they will make you food. And I mean that quite literally. You are the one on the menu. Granted, there are no Bosmer in Skyrim for you to pursue. When it comes to Bosmer, some of the biggest red flags are clinginess, being overly sensitive or defensive, and emotional instability. These characteristics can hinder communication, lead to codependent relationships, and create conflict and discord in the relationship. If you see these traits being exhibited by the Bosmer you are dating, it's probably best to cut things off and worship me, Dagoth Ur. Altmer or High Elfin-Waz are difficult to charm, so you will have to play a long, subtle game with them, and never seem too desperate or eager. Show a sincere understanding of their culture, and demonstrate a willingness to follow it. Be respectful of their traditions and heritage, but don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself once in a while to make them laugh. Remember, Altmer love a good sense of humor, and they often find it in their own pompousness. However, generally, I would steer clear of Altmer. The biggest red flags with Altmer are narcissism, a superiority complex, and arrogance. These traits can interfere with honest communication and often lead to manipulation and other forms of toxicity. If you see these traits being exhibited by the Altmer you are dating, it is probably time to move on and honor the sixth house and the tribe unmourned. Most of your Altmer options have joined the Thalmor, and no amount of rationalizing will ever make it acceptable to pursue a Thalmor. Dating Nord Enwas is all about confidence and straightforwardness. You need to be bold and make your intentions clear from the start. Complement the Nordic traits they take pride in, and be ready to share some of their interests. Remember that Nords like a good debate and a bit of competition, so don't be afraid to speak your mind or challenge them a little. Ultimately, the key to dating Nords is showing that you can stand up for yourself and aren't afraid to fight if necessary. There is an extreme overabundance of Nords. Some of the red flags when dating Nords are aggression, chauvinism, jealousy, and a tendency to use violence to solve problems. These traits can lead to toxic dynamics and create conflicts in the relationship. If you see these traits being exhibited by the Nord you are dating, it may be time to call it quits. It is even worse if the Nord in question is a Stormcloak. Dating the Imperials, the mongrel dogs of the Empire, can be difficult, as they are not known for their spontaneity and passion. To successfully date an Imperial, you need to be patient, diplomatic, and flexible. Show a genuine interest in the Imperial culture and be prepared to compromise and make concessions. Be respectful of authority and protocols, but don't take yourself too seriously either. Above all, remember that Imperials often operate on logic rather than emotions, so you may need to be a little extra vigilant in showing your enthusiasms, feelings. Some of the biggest red flags when dating Imperials are lack of spontaneity, rigid adherence to protocol, arrogance, and entitlement. These traits can lead to a predictable, lifeless relationship and may create tension or resentment. If you see these traits being exhibited by the Imperial you are dating, it may be time to find someone more flexible and exciting. Dating Bretons can be a mixed bag. They have a reputation for being charming and socially adept, but they also have a tendency towards condescension, manipulation, and self-importance. The key to dating the Bretons is to tread carefully and not take their flattery at face value. It's also important to maintain a balance between being playful and thoughtful. As for avoiding Breton kisses, well, you can try, but when they do their best to charm you, it might just be inevitable. Some of the red flags when dating a Breton are elitism, condescension, vanity, and egotism. These traits can manifest in an array of problems, like a tendency to manipulate others or a lack of empathy. In short, keep an eye out for any signs of narcissism. If you spot these red flags in your Breton partner, it may be time to reconsider the relationship. Generally, the Bretons in Skyrim are involved in too much forsworn nonsense. Dating Redguards can be quite an experience. These people have a rich heritage and are known for their bravery, prowess in battle, and loyalty. To date a Redguard is to embrace their culture, their warrior code, and their strength of character. Show respect for those traits, and you will have their attention. Be bold and straightforward, but have a sense of humor, too. Make them laugh and challenge them in friendly competition. Ultimately, dating a Redguard is all about adventure and testing yourself. Some of the red flags when dating a Redguard include jealousy, possessiveness, aggression, and curved swords. These traits can make for a volatile and potentially dangerous combination. If you see these traits in your Redguard partner, it may be time to reconsider the relationship. Redguards have a long and complicated history with both the elves and the Imperials, which can spill over into the present. If you spot any signs of bigotry, address them immediately. If you are enjoying my sermons, please raise your thumbs, write on the parchment down below who you would date, and I expect it to be Dunmer, and subscribe to my sermons. Dating an orc can be an intense experience. Orcs are known for their strength, resilience, and honor. To date an orc is to be prepared for a passionate and intense relationship, with plenty of fiery fights and fiery lovemaking, especially if you are into Malakath. Keep an open mind and be ready to fight alongside your partner. Orcs are proud of their strength and their prowess in fight, and they expect their romantic partners to be able to keep up with them. Show a respect for their heritage and their warrior culture, and you'll have the key to their heart. Some of the red flags when dating the orcs are possessiveness, jealousy, and a tendency to be overbearing and dominant. These traits can lead to control issues and a possessive attitude. If you spot these red flags in your orc partner, it may be time to reconsider the relationship. Orcs are notoriously stubborn and set in their ways, so be prepared for a potentially difficult time trying to change these behaviors. Honestly, though, Nerevar, having access to their holds in Skyrim will not bring you any happiness. Their side quests are extremely boring. How can any self-respecting person consider dating the Khajiit, beings known for their furry nature, their skooma and moon sugar addiction, and their low social status? No doubt these beings are cute and cuddly on the surface, but one would be a fool to allow that to blind them to the true depravity at the heart of their nature. Khajiits are little more than cats, meant to be petted and pampered. not taken seriously, or considered for romance. So I say to those who would court these lesser creatures, shame on you. Some additional downsides of dating a Khajiit include their slowness, their tendency to be lazy and irresponsible, their proclivity for thievery, their inability to control their urges and impulses, their lack of loyalty, their lack of self-control, and their tendency to lie and deceive. A relationship with a Khajiit is likely to be filled with trouble and disappointment, as they have a tendency to fall short of their commitments and promises. If you want a partner who is reliable and trustworthy, then look elsewhere. They live in their filthy caravans without being let into cities for a reason. Nerevar, being farm tools, is the only thing they are good for. Even the most open-minded and accepting citizen of Tamriel would pause if asked to consider dating an Argonian, for the Argonians are not merely another type of Mer, but another type of life entirely. Whatever that Uncle Crassius of yours is writing is the most depraved farm tool nonsense I have seen. The lusty Argonian maid, really, Nerevar, they are nothing more than farm tools, beasts. How can one even begin to contemplate a love between such vastly different beings? Their organs and biology are incompatible. Their minds and hearts cannot align. And their cultures and values cannot mesh. Only a deluded fool would entertain the idea, and would be well advised to rid themselves of such unnatural desires. How can I even begin to tell you, you miserable swit? You should be ashamed for even positing the question, and for implying that there might be a possibility in this foul existence for a romantic relationship between Enois and lizards. You call yourself loyal to the sixth house, yet you would pollute it with the taint of these foul creatures. You call yourself a Dunmer, yet you would besmirch your bloodline with this foul corruption. Have you not heard of the disease that these things carry with their filthy fluids? Is this how you honor the sixth house and the tribe unmourned? Dunmer are indeed perfect beings. For one, they are the descendants of the Chimer. They wield ancient magic, and they have the strongest connections with the gods, especially me, Dagoth Ur. Dunmer are proud, determined, and fierce, and they never shy away from conflict. Dunmer are loyal and devoted to their own kind, and their culture is rich and vibrant. They also have a natural resistance to fire, as well as a longevity that other races lack. In short, there is no downside to dating Dunmer. You fetcher, you pathetic mongrel dog, you foul, filthy swit, you idiotic Enois. How dare you imply that the Dunmer, the greatest and most perfect beings in all of Tamriel, have red flags? We are the descendants of the Chimer. Our hearts are pure. Our skill with magic is unmatched, and our culture is rich and deep. Thank you to those funding the Sixth House operations. Your support is greatly appreciated, and more exciting sermons are in the works, especially the current Sharmat Tonya Davis and the adoring fans Connor Runda and Peanut 8421.